Hello, beloved. This is Tony. I wanted to do a video this evening. The other evening, my video was two becomes one. Two becomes one. And I saw some of the comments, and it sort of run off about a sexual thing. And I want to kind of clarify some of that, because the sexual thing, the male and the female, is only a standard understanding of duality as of two opposites. Okay, because in some of there I also showed the sun, the sun, and the moon. Sorry, not a very good moon. Sun and the moon. Well, this is the same thing as like male and female. Alright? And I opened up tonight with Madonna, and it's just sort of weird how things work in my world. I had to go somewhere this evening. I got in the car, turned on the radio, and as soon as it turned on, that was what I heard. And she says, it's your imagination. You've got to use it. That's what it's for.
All you need is your own imagination, so use it. That's what it's for. That's what it's for.
And it sort of brought into mind a conversation that I had the other evening, or a comment that I had made to Jerry Lynn. Some of you may subscribe, some don't. I'm sorry, Jerry Lynn. Sorry, Jerry. And she was talking, it was one of her last videos, and she was talking about, she's just fed up with all of it, and in the box and out of the box. And I made a comment back to her, and I just told her, I said, in the box, the cube, okay, and I've covered this so much, man. I mean, wow, have I covered this. Okay, but in the cube, you're only a spark, okay? I told her, I said, inside the cube, you're only a spark. But outside of the box, you're a star, okay? Now, and this is, what happens is I want to try and explain more of this cube system. Basically, the religions of the world are teaching, okay, and I got to go to Anna's video yesterday, because she was talking about the Bible, and how the Word, and yes, I agree with her, that is in there. Yes, it'll bind you up, okay? But in Scripture is a duality, okay? And what I want to kind of cover on that one, in the duality, there are many contradictions in Scripture, sort of between Old Testament and New Testament. And maybe one quick reference is, for example, Solomon had long hair, and it was his strength. But there's another story in the Scripture where another young man, and I don't know this one very well, but the young man had long hair, and it was a shame. And he actually somehow was on a horse or something, and his hair got tangled in a limb, and it hung him and killed him. All right, contradiction. Okay, thou shalt not kill. Yet many of the people in Scripture kill. Okay, and their stories are, and they wrote the books and what have you. And so these contradictions, and to kind of understand the cube, the contradictions again. Okay, a cube is six-sided, all right? And so if we sort of divide the six-sided, we have 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. So I have an understanding of 3, 1, 3. 3, okay, and this is, well, we'll do that way, 3, 3, okay? And together, they are the Star of David. You see? And this is a weird symbolic way of showing the cube. Alright? And this is where I've talked about 7, is that in there? Which 7 is the spark. It's the observer of the cube. And this cube is the limitations that is created by this dualistic belief system, this contradiction. Okay? And what I want to kind of show now in that, where in my video the other day, 2 become 1, and I used the male and female because a lot of alchemy, that's what they show. Okay, but then in for masonry, let's just use the 2 columns, all right? Well, what happens with this thing is sort of the idea of choosing the lesser of two evils. Lesser of two evils. Is it this or is it this? Is this good or is this bad? Or is that bad or is that good? Is that evil? Is this right? Is this white or is that white? Is that black or is that black? You know, is long hair good or is long hair bad? Is it, you know, I mean, and people get trapped in that, okay? And so what happens is they can't move forward because they're stuck in sort of a left-right paradigm. It's the duality of things, okay? And these columns that I'm just sort of using right now is also, I can put the sun here and the moon here. I can put a man here and a female here. And they're all the same kind of symbols. I can put salt here and I can put pepper there. And what happens is, basically, they have bound your imagination. They have bound it. Okay, and a cube, like I said, has 6 sides, so it's 3 and 3. 6. Number of the beast. Alright? And then 313 is the understanding of the spark, the observer. You see, the cube does not exist unless there's an observer, which is you. Okay, and you become bound in that. So, and I'm using her video because this evening, you know, and that's what she was saying as soon as I turned the car on. It was talking about the imagination. Use it. That's what it's for. I've said in many videos, a crisis is a lack of imagination. And I want to show you in this video the columns, which I was just sort of using them as a symbolism here. Okay? She's using these columns in the video too. And what you have to understand is there is what's called the third column. Alright? And I'm going to reference, and this is the thing, man, I wished I could share with you guys all the information that I receive and the confirmations and acknowledgments and how I see it. It's everywhere in the world. I mean, it's spooky in a way. It's really spooky. But the other evening I watched a movie and it was called Mr. Nobody. And Mr. Nobody, and I'm going to maybe ruin the end of the movie for anyone, but I really recommend watching this movie because in a way this is explaining and teaching this too. And I think he called it Zug's Wang. Okay?
Everything that you say is contradictory. You can't have been in one place and another at the same time.
You mean to say we have to make choices?
Of all those lives, which one is the right one?
Each of these lives is the right one. Every path is the right path. You don't exist. Neither do I. We only live in the imagination of a 9-year-old child. We are imagined by a 9-year-old child faced with an impossible choice.
In chess, it's called Zugzwang. When the only viable move
is not to move.
It's sort of the idea of following your heart, not the belief systems that are created by these boys that play this game. I mean, this is some really, it's amazing how far-fetched this is and how it's done to us. Okay, but see, when you're bound in here, you're only a spark. But outside, you're a star. So now I'm going to just kind of jump back because I want to show you these columns. And you'll see he's setting up a column. All right? But then you're gonna see some of the guys, the dancers or whatever, they're walking through the two columns. You see, they're not bound. They're not stuck there with this idea of, okay, you know, what is the lesser of two evils? Well, they're walking on through it. You see, because the two have become one. And I'm probably skipping around here, but, you know, I don't know. I've done so many videos trying to show this and explain this, but so many people are trapped in their duality. And the duality is what creates this cube, okay? And in some of my previous earlier videos, I had said that 666 is a measurement. It's length times width times height, which creates the cube, all right? And because this number is only used one other time, it's used in 1 Kings, I think. In the first year, Solomon received 600 3 square and 6 talents of gold. Well, that is a measurement. And see, and this is sort of the thing with Anna. Anna has come out, and she has, you see, she's no longer bound by those beliefs of the duality and the contradictions. Okay, here's another good one. Michael Jackson this evening. I was going somewhere earlier, flipped on the radio, and it's Michael Jackson, and I'm going to pull this. Okay, so one would be too high to get over. The other one is too low to get under. This is stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. But I want you to see what else he has. Called Petra, and these are some temples that were built just thousands of years ago in the stone in Jordan. Okay, and they use the same thing there. They're still showing you 1, 2, 3 columns, 1, 2, 3 columns, and the door is in the center. But then when it goes to the second floor, you'll see 1, 2 columns, 1, 2 columns, and the other 2 columns are joined together. And it makes like a thing. So I'm going to put that picture in here real quick. I wish I could just give it to you. It would be a much better world if everyone was, because what happens is, like I said, I've shown here, this thing is the judgment. You know, it's the stuck of the judgment. And what happens is when you're bound by judgment, you bind others in judgment. And when you can just sort of accept, let it be, or allow, it's a much better world.